know if you guys can tell right now, but I'm just playing a little live piano here, right on Collider TV Talk, a little Central Wednesday, live from the Collider Bar and Grill here in lovely Burbank, California, where it's a cool, breezy 14700 degrees. 14700? Yep, you're welcome on that made-up number I just came up with. It's a Central Wednesday. I'm joined here, as always, by the lovely, the Mother Ginger of Dragons, Grace Hancock.
Oh, thank you, Josh, for serenading us with your early morning jazz here on a Sensual Wednesday.
You're welcome. Are we going to take some Twitter questions today,
We
Grace?
most certainly are.
That's fantastic.
Please send them to me at Mrs. Graceface, hashtag Collider TV Talk, hashtag Sensual Wednesday, hashtag Ginger Mother of Dragons.
So many hashtags, so little time. Also here, as always, the saxophone in this jazz band. That's right, Emma Fyffe.
That's
right.
right.
Watch her hit those high notes. Just woo. That is.
Playing a little saxophone.
I do picture you as like those Star Wars creatures who do it like this.
Are you a left-handed saxophonist?
No,
Grace?
but I just am right
Emma?
now. I thought it would be cooler, be a little more indie, and
definitely.
like, yeah, you know,
It's
mixing
super-
it up,
it's
keeping it
very
cool here,
cool.
because apparently we're on the surface of the sun,
Jesus
according to the
Christ.
temperature that
Yep.
Josh McNugan
Yep.
just gave us.
If you guys are out there walking in rubber shoes and your soles are melting to the ground, should have worn leather. I apologize
So
for
I should
your
change
bad
my
choice.
Crocs. Is that what you're saying?
We accept tips and requests. We'll be here for the next 25 minutes. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to all the people that came out last night to the ArcLight Hollywood and witnessed Jurassic Park at 7:30. I apologize for not being there. I didn't want to spread my illness. At least I thought it was an illness. But what doctors are calling a 72-hour hangover. I was sweating. I had chills leaving work yesterday for the second straight day. But I'll tell you what, right now I feel 100%, and also 100% to tell you guys that starting next Tuesday, Collider TV Talk will be coming to you live at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. British Standard Time, and 4 a.m. Australia, I think. Somebody from Australia want to tweet and make sure that I'm right about that. All right, let's get into it, Grace. What's first up on the docket?
All right, so first up, Detective Misty Knight will definitely be returning for season 2 of Luke Cage with a nice Luke Skywalker upgrade. She's looking
Buzzing.
pretty badass in this. So as we know from the Defenders, spoiler alert, her arm gets chopped off.
That was a
now-
quick spoiler alert. Adam's like, I didn't see that part! Well,
And,
it was basically Luke Wilson in Anchorman. Son of a bitch, not again!
Yeah.
Like, and her arm just clean right off. I mean,
Yeah.
woo!
And you know
yeah.
what? If you're gonna lose your arm,
You
that
want
was
it
a,
to be
that was a
clean.
really graceful way to do it.
Agreed.
Like,
Agreed.
Right. So yeah. So we see her fully recuperated and has a, and we don't really know because the way that she lost it is a little bit different than how she loses it in the comics. So we don't know
Right.
if the arm comes from Tony Stark, which is what happens in the comics. So we'll see. What do you guys think?
Right. Well, I mean, I think that if they did have the arm come from Tony Stark, that would be pretty awesome because,
Yeah.
again, like, I really enjoyed the fact that in...
Shared universe.
Yes, exactly. It is
Yeah.
a shared universe, and every once in a while in the Netflix Hell's Kitchen series, they do have a nod to the fact that these characters exist in the same world as the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy and all of those characters that we're seeing in the MCU. So I would really like that. Based on the ending of Defenders, it seems like it's going to have something to do with Iron Fist because he owns the hospital and it's a really state-of-the-art place. These are direct quotes
Right,
from
yes,
Defenders.
yeah. State of the art.
Yes.
Owns the hospital.
I love that it's a state-of-the-art place. That
Yeah.
hospital's a state-of-the-art
I
place.
mean, that is basically exactly what Colleen Wing said, but it's so funny.
All right, fuck it. We're giving you a robotic arm. Shit, I gave away the plot. Damn it. Crap. Somebody fire Colleen Wing. No.
The internet seems to be very divided on this robotic arm. Again, it is in the comics. I'm all for it. I think it's really cool to give because it's a way of giving a person who is a normal human being, she does not have any sort of powers, a little bit of a power upgrade.
She's got some power when she's naked because she got Luke Cage. Oh, hot and mother.
oh, hey-oh, Sensual Wednesday.
Sensual Wednesday.
I meant in the like physical strength superhero kind of way, but that is a power unto itself.
That's definitely a superpower that I would be interested
yes.
in
But
receiving.
there are some people on the internet that are really mad about this robotic arm because they feel like it's going against what the Netflix Hell's Kitchen heroes are all about, which is that they don't really have any special powers. They don't have costumes. They're just regular people. The only one of them that does have a costume is Daredevil. And then you have Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, who actually do kind of have superpowers, but they eschew them and are kind of regular everyman type of heroes.
Sure.
Yes.
So, but the robotic arm doesn't bother me. It's in the comic books.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think they'll
it's
do it in a
sticking to
smart
the-
way, and I want to. Yeah.
I think a cool.
And I
like,
want a bionic arm.
Yeah.
Right.
Duh. I think a cool maybe Easter eggish kind of a thing is if just on like the side of the arm at any one point we just see Stark.
Yeah, that'd be
Or
amazing.
like Stark, right? Like she went to a Rand hospital that is dealing in Stark bionics. Like it's a lot of hats, guys. I get it. It's a hat on a hat, but. I think that would kind of be a cooler way to do the Easter egg than being like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
my
yeah.
buddy Tony, you guys
Right.
might know him as Iron
Right.
Man, cool goatee.
I
a lot of,
totally
like,
agree.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, it would be kind of like in the beginning of Wonder Woman where you see the Wayne Enterprises truck. You never
Yes.
see Batman, but you get it.
You know it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff too. It's like a little Valentine to the nerds who are like really paying attention. And we're all like,
Give us that.
I
All right,
like
what's
it.
next, Grace?
Right. So Netflix has released a short new teaser for Fincher's upcoming series Mindhunter, where we mostly see Jonathan Groff's character and his partner arguing over why he shouldn't bring a gun into an interview, namely because the inmate will eventually have sex with his face, which is a very sensible argument.
Very.
If you ask me, because that's not something I'm personally interested.
Yesterday was all about butt
in-
stuff. Today's all about face stuff.
Face sex?
Face sex?
Ugh.
Face, I
I'm
don't know.
sorry for-
Regardless, the way this is shot is very Zodiac. The way it looks has a very Zodiac feel to it. The casting of this crazy sociopath serial killer, awesome. I couldn't be more excited for this series. And they give you this like little, and this is, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. This little like, the little part of a mustache that men can't grow sometimes, the bigger it is, the creepier it is.
Wait, is that because
Oh,
he
that little
can't
gap.
grow it?
This little gap. That's why I have a bald spot on my chin, right?
Yeah.
My dad has it. My brother has it.
No, that is pretty common, that little gap.
A little gap. It becomes like this.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I'm learning
Oh, yeah.
so much, right? Like it just doesn't grow
No,
right
it doesn't
there?
grow right there. It's a little bald
That is
spot.
hilarious. It's
Yeah.
such a perfect little triangle.
Yeah. And so like the
Now his is probably groomed a little to
Yes,
because as
yeah.
you say, it's really creepy.
it's super
Yeah.
creepy.
Well, he has very like Mark David Chapman vibes.
Well, 100%.
Like,
100%.
yeah.
So I really enjoy because the dude walks in and he looks like
He's huge.
What do they call the person in Legion? The big egghead guy.
Oh gosh, what was that
What's the
creature
name of the-
called?
Let me see
Oh
if
my
somebody,
god.
Somebody in the comments, if you know what they called the Legion in Creature, just give it to us.
It's like on the tip of my tongue.
But they look like that. Cody, do you remember the creature in Legion? The Yellow King.
Yeah.
This guy saving
We know
the
who we
damn
got. We got
day.
Cody Hall.
Our own personal Spider-Man.
Man, I
Busting
feel,
it out.
I know. I feel like we should get a
Our
Cody
friendly
cam.
neighborhood personal Spider-Man.
But it's even in 30 seconds, you get that the show isn't pulling punches. You get that the show is not going to be one of those like heartfelt, Lily
Right.
kind of a thing. And
mean-
man,
I'm
I'm
going
just
to be
pumped.
binging the shit out of this
Yes.
on Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Like, I'm just going to be like at home. I can't wait. I'm a huge Fincher fan. I feel like he's such a fearless storyteller. Like, all of his stuff, he's not afraid to show
Yeah.
the dark, messy shit of people, and I love it.
Yeah, but he does it in a way that is so visually compelling and captivating as an audience member. He doesn't
Yeah.
just show gross stuff on screen.
I'm being told it's the Shadow King. Sorry.
The Shadow King.
Shadow King. Thank you.
That was a
Get
Thank
outta
you,
here,
everybody.
Spider-Man.
Shadow King, Shadow King, Shadow King. Yellow
Okay.
King was from the True Detective. Thank you. Yellow King
there
was
we
True
go.
Detective.
But you can
Shadow
see how
King.
that's confusing.
Got it,
They're
got
very
it.
close.
Thank you,
but,
Shadow King.
But what I'm saying is that it's again, Fincher doesn't just show gross stuff on screen. He's not afraid to be very fearless with his visuals. However, he does it in such a way that it is compelling and shocking in a good way, where you feel like he's not doing something just for the shock factor.
Right.
And just the
It's
whole,
all justified.
And the concept of this, of people interviewing serial killers to figure out how like sociopaths. I'm all in on
Yeah,
this.
it's like
I'm
my
so
dream.
excited.
It's like my dream job. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm going to find out how I get this one.
You're like George Costanza. I think I could interview serial killers. Well, usually they reserve that for people that went to school to do that. You're like, but
And I'm
that's
like,
not
but I feel like
fair.
I'd be good at it. I watched like all the Dateline.
Such a millennial thing. You're like, I could totally do that. Why am I not doing that? Hire me, people. All right, what's next, Grace?
All right, so Justified producers are returning to the works of Elmore Leonard, optioning 3 of the late author's novels as the basis for a new TV series. The adaptation is going to focus on 1 novel for each season, with characters occasionally appearing in multiple seasons, as they often do in the books. So obviously Justified was super successful, 6 seasons on FX, was pretty well loved across the board. I'm really excited for this. We were talking earlier off air about showing Detroit like the gritty kind of crime stuff.
Well, getting 3 novels to get there as opposed to 1 short story that Justified was based on is amazing. The IP is already, here's the thing. A show like Low Winter Sun, which I know I was in the very, very small minority of people that watch, I actually really enjoyed Low Winter Sun, and it was a great cast. It was a weird plot, but it had that dark, gritty part of Detroit that was like, this almost seems unreal. But in this one, they can really kind of like go after that in a sense of we now have like a bigger scope as opposed to just 2 dirty cops. It's now like a bigger scope kind of thing. On the flip side, you have a show like Detroiters, which is like a spoof comedy about the city of Detroit, which makes it look really cool and fun. I was just in Detroit 3 months ago. It is nowhere near as like dirty and gritty as everybody says. Like, I kind of feel like this is really fun here. But then I went to that was during the day, and then at night we went to like a part of the town that like somebody recommended a bar, and I was like, I don't know if we should be here. This is a lot. This is like there was a live chicken, like people killing live chickens next to the bar, and I was like, I don't.
See, coming from somebody who I know for a fact just punches cockroaches in the face, for you to be nervous, like I am not prepared for Detroit.
I don't punch cockroaches. I have punched a cockroach.
Singular.
One singular cockroach.
This big.
It was like 3 fingers, and I punched it. That was back in 2003.
That's
I was
badass.
still a man. I'm now more of a boyish dude with less hair. There is something awesome about Justified people coming back to TV, though. Because I love that freaking show.
I feel like the other thing, too, that is interesting to me about this series is the fact that it's multiple stories within the same... It's
like
not
universe.
I was going to say universe, except that it's just Detroit. But but I like the idea that, a character who is a main character in the first series might pop up in another one. It's a way of doing kind of an anthology series where you really, again, are connecting it back to all taking place in the same sort of time frame, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah. 100%.
And apparently he does that a lot in his novels.
Yeah.
I mean, he's passed away, but a lot of them are like that, like especially these 12 like Detroit crime ones, which I think is super cool. I haven't read any of the books, but now I'm kind of like,
the show's about TV.
I'm going to head to the
You
library.
obviously know how I feel
I'm very
about
sorry.
books.
Put down the book.
Yeah,
I
David
apologize.
Griffin's book
I'm sorry
talk
for the way I am.
is over on davidgriffin.com/don't watch book talk. I'm kidding. Love you, buddy. All right, what's next, Grace?
All right, so last night, Discovery Channel's Manhunt Unabomber, we had a new episode aptly titled Ted. I was so excited to tell you guys this because I have not been a huge fan of this, but I loved this episode. I thought it was so good. There was no fat to trim. It was such compelling storytelling. There was not a lot of dialogue, which was a great thing. I thought the casting of Paul Bettany in his younger, selves was great. It was super terrifying. You had sympathy for all these horrible life experiences he's had, which is important to have for a villain. Like, you want these gray areas because that's what's compelling about villains.
Because all of a sudden it's really humanizing Ted Kaczynski, because up to this point in the series, we've only seen him from afar. We see the sketch of him. We know that he's sending bombs to people. And also, spoilers, that last shot of the episode where he has he has this whole vision of what he should have done with his life. He's like, if I had just put energy into loving people instead of killing people, that's what I should have done. That's what my life should have been. And you see him in his cabin laying on his bed with another bomb that he's in the process of making hidden under the bed. And it's so...
How do people sleep
heart-wrenching.
with bombs under the bed? Like, the bomb is ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's totally ready to go.
With my night terrors, I'm like under the night terrors. And then like the bomb went off. How'd it go off? Well, he's the Unabomber, but he also had night terrors. So
the whole storyline with his one friend from school.
Oh my gosh. And the way that they told it with like super minimal dialogue.
No dialogue at all,
just
hardly.
like kind of like faded it was just really, it was tough to watch. I was like, this is really sad.
And then when he went to Harvard, which he started Harvard at 16, that is an actual fact, and he got into that program where he thought it was this whole psychoanalysis thing, and really basically what they had determined was that he was psychologically extremely vulnerable for them to try out these brainwashing techniques to use against Soviet spies. This is a real thing that happened. This is a real thing that happened.
Did anybody get like that feeling of a weird, beautiful mindish kind of a thing?
100%.
Where you're like, Jesus, they are working with the wrong brain here. Like they should not well, one, you shouldn't be doing that to college kids at all, period. Second,
or
this is
any
now why,
age.
at any age. And this is why you see where people kind of go off of a deep end, because you mentally destroy this person at a formative age of the brain.
Right.
Yes.
And he was already kind of like this tortured genius, and
Yeah.
he didn't like had a lot of trouble relating to people. And then his one friend turned out to be a jerk, and then he bombed his face.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
And I honestly did like the fact that when he went around town, people knew who he was in this
I
tiny
know.
little Montana
And
town.
he had like little friends.
Yeah, because have you ever there's a documentary about the guy that owns, I don't know if he's still alive, that owns Burt's Bees, like the
okay.
chapstick
Oh my God, I
or
owe him my
whatever,
life.
And he looks like the Unabomber. He's like
really?
he lives in a shack in the middle of Maine
Oh my
with
God.
with very little running water, all that kind of stuff. And he's got this huge long beard and I mean, he's just a total to nature
kind
kind
of
of a guy.
recluse.
And he gets sent all over the world because people love his products, and they're like, you have to go, and he just like doesn't show up, or he forgets to show up.
What a baller.
But he seems like such a sweetheart of a guy, and I
Yeah.
think that's what Ted Kaczynski kind of is.
Yeah.
Is when it comes to the people that live in his small town in Montana, he loves them. When it comes to the people out there, those are the people that he saw that effed his life up.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna bomb you. My brain is somewhere in the middle, and I don't know what to do.
I thought the whole
Yeah.
composition of the episode was just extremely well done. The fact that you never saw his brother until very close to the end of the episode, and you
Right.
saw that montage of
Him getting
suddenly
fired.
right, and suddenly, so his parents. So Ted Kaczynski is the oldest child of the Kaczynski family,
Mm-hmm.
and then his brother Dave is born, and suddenly Dave and Ted was a difficult child, as is often the case with
Genius.
kids who are really smart.
Yep.
And then Dave comes in, and he's just kind of regular smart, and he's sweetness and light, and it was
Regular smart.
Yeah, but
I'm like a mini venti. I don't want the regular. I'm like, can you get a small smart? Cool, I'll take that one.
but you know what I mean.
I got you,
Because
yes.
if parents are dealing with a child who's really difficult, and then a really easy kid comes along, it's
Oh yeah.
It's-
Thank God I was the youngest.
right.
On the flip, my mom always says, if I was born first, I would have been an only child, because my brother was an angel and I was a maniac. I was a maniac kid.
Yeah, me too.
So no, I really thought that it was like the TED standalone. It was your own version of a TED Talk, Unabomber style.
I see what you did there.
Still a little more TEDx. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But I loved it, and I think this really launches us into the next, because now crescendo, perfect plateauing. Let's go and find him.
Yeah.
you know?
I know, and
So-
it perfectly sets the stage for now. I'm invested on both sides.
Correct.
Whereas now, like you said, it's like we haven't really seen what he's been up to, and also like I'm not gonna lie, like the opening thing with him like in his cabin, listening to some records, like showering in the lake. I was like, this is kind of attractive. Like I was like,
I will.
I
say,
kind of
though,
want to live in the woods and like pick little berries.
Just
from the
hanging out with a
garden.
bear in a
Yeah.
creek, like, what's up, bear?
I know
What's up?"
the bear noise freaked me out, but I will say too that because I've been watching so much Game of Thrones and not
You
network
assume the worst.
TV.
You're like, it's a zombie
Well,
bear.
yeah,
Run,
number-
Ted.
That too, but also when he was like showering in the lake, he was wearing pants instead
Yes.
of being naked. And
Right.
I was like, why does he have clothes on?
Just take off all the clothes, bro. Oh, right,
I
it's
love this
Discovery.
Emma at home, like, take off your pants, Ted.
Ted gone wild. Take off the pants, Ted. All right, let's move on, Grace. What's next?
Oh man! All right, so now we're gonna go to EmmaMation.
Oh yeah. That's my little tag on it.
You were like a worker at Chuck E. Cheese. You guys ready for Eric's birthday? Oh yeah. Who gets pizza? You get pizza.
Who wants to play some skee-ball and
was
jump
like
in the ball pit?
Prime like children's theater. Like, who wants to learn about
Listen,
math?
I
You know
spent
that-
a lot of time doing children's theater in my defense.
She
so.
was like on tour for 62 years
No,
at a
I
children's
know.
company.
I can see
Emma is
why.
the youngest 140-year-old you've
yeah,
ever met.
it's pretty
in your life.
amazing. I'm actually immortal. I might be part vampire,
Yeah.
but
That's amazing.
So on Monday, Shonen Jump announced that they're going to serialize the next story arc of Rurouni Kenshin in their weekly digital publication. So Rurouni Kenshin is a long-running series. There was a manga series back in the 90s, and then there's an anime series. It's like 95 episodes, I want to say.
Okay.
It's really good, and it's very exciting that this new story arc is actually going to be simul-published. So it'll be published in Shonen Jump's weekly digital publication on literally the exact same day that it is published in Shueisa's Jump HQ, which is kind of an offshoot of Shonen Jump in Japan.
Okay.
So it's a new territory.
States and Japan together.
Yeah, States and
nice.
Japan. It's getting published at the exact same time, and it's by the original Rurouni Kenshin creator Nobuhiro Watsuki, and his wife Kaoru Kurosaki is collaborating with him on this. But it's funny because the main girl in Rurouni Kenshin is also named Kaoru, so kind of named after his wife. But
Ninjas, samurais.
yeah, samurai. Yeah, I mean, basically the story behind Rurouni Kenshin, I've talked about it on this show before, is he was the Butosai, the manslayer. So he was basically this like crazy killer samurai. Yeah, totally. He was a total Jaime Lannister. Whoa. But like Jaime Lannister, has a heart of gold and had a real change of heart, and now he doesn't kill anybody. It seems to me everything that I've read about this says that it is a sequel, so it will be a continuation of the story that we already know. There aren't too many details about it otherwise, but Rurouni Kenshin, I highly recommend to anybody who hasn't seen it. It's all on Netflix, and also if you are not necessarily a fan of stuff that is animated, there are 3 Rurouni Kenshin live action films. They came out, I want to say maybe like 5 years ago. They're Japanese films, and they are excellent. Okay, they are excellent live action adaptations. Definitely, probably my #1 live action adaptation of an anime series. So
we know what your not #1 is. And that would be Death Note.
Death Note. Yeah. Well, yeah. Specifically that Netflix thing. Yeah. But anyway, Funimation has licensed and released all of those movies on Blu-ray and DVD in the States. So I highly recommend checking those out. And we'll see. Viz also suggested that there was a little like tag on the article I read on Anime News Network saying we'll have English subtitles, which suggests that maybe we will be getting an anime adaptation of this new story arc as well, which would be really cool. And then in exciting but probably more just confusing news, there's going to be 2 one-hour TV specials airing this October on Fuji TV. On October 1st, we will get a 1-hour special featuring One Piece, and then on October 8th, we will get a 1-hour special featuring Dragon Ball Super. In celebration of the event, they released this mashup art featuring both Luffy, who's the main character from One Piece, and Goku, who is the main character from all of the Dragon Ball series. Now back
So Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff.
Exactly, yeah. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super.
And all that stuff.
All that stuff. Exactly. You got it, Macuga. You nailed it.
Yes.
So back in 2013, there was this crazy mashup episode that featured both Dragon Ball, One Piece, and also Dream 9 Toriko, which I am not familiar with, but there was this crazy mashup episode. So fans are wondering if these 1-hour specials are going to be One Piece and Dragon Ball Super, or One Piece and Dragon Ball Super, meaning a mashup episode. I don't think it is. I think that this art is just done to be like, hey guys, look at how important Dragon Ball and One Piece have been to the history of Shonen Jump.
Okay.
I don't think that we're going to really get a crossover. I think they'll, again, just be individual 1-hour specials, but I don't know. We'll find out in October.
I wish I really had that dude's hair.
Goku's hair?
Oh, man.
It's pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. A lot of the men in Dragon Ball have some pretty enviable hair, and then the rest of them are basically bald. You
either nail it or you shave it. That's the rule.
Nail it or shave it.
I swear, Emma, if let's just say you were like, you met a guy and he showed up to your door dressed as Goku. Goku. I was close.
Yeah, that's good.
Floopy, right?
Would you just be like, well, I guess I'm getting married to this guy?
I'm
like,
more of a Vegeta girl, personally.
Damn it.
But I would be like, do you have a friend who is also Prince of the Saiyans?
Okay. All right. Now we know. So if you guys are out there wondering what it does to take Emma Fyffe's heart, something like this, I guess. Win-win. All right, EmmaMation. Thank you, Emma. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You are the fucking best. I love it. All right. Let's do some Twitter questions, Grace.
All right. So our friend all the way from Kuwait at Mashari _141. What is some shows that you guys really want to see done but that hasn't yet done well?
Oh, like a genre or like a...
yeah, it sounds kind of like a genre.
Yeah, I think we can go either way. Like, I really, really love the original story of Sleeping Beauty from like the Grimm, like the dark one.
Oh, like Perrault's story of
Yeah,
Sleeping
like
Beauty.
I feel like that could be a really cool concept that I don't, to my knowledge, other than like Once Upon a Time, like has not really been done in like a dark kind of way. So like that's something that I would like to see done in a gritty kind of like Finchery kind of world, instead of Once Upon a Time, which is not really my taste.
I you know what has... I know I'm like, this is such a partial Homer thing to say, but I really want to see shows that take place in cities where every character has an accent. Like, I don't want...
Like a different accent?
No. Like, if you're going to do a show in Pittsburgh, I want to see you do a show with a Pittsburgh accent. Everybody's got a Pittsburgh accent, right? If you do a show in Cleveland or you do a show in New Jersey or you... Like, yes, in Sopranos, like, Tony had the thickest one. But not everybody had, like, a really thick Jersey accent.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, a lot of people... I mean, the accents can flare, but I don't want one guy in a Pittsburgh show to be like, well, he came down the stairs. It's like, yeah, you come down the stairs and I want legit.
So you really are enjoying Sam Worthington's performance on Manhunt, Unabomber on Discovery Channel.
This is how I speak in English.
Yeah. Oh, Sam Worthington.
I always have trouble with like dialects. So if you're going to do a show, give me the dialect of the town.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
I think that's the grit.
What I would really like, and this is encompassing Twitter questions I have seen thrown at me, but I wish I could give credit to you. I know it's been a couple people asking me if I would want to see a Dragon Riders of Pern series. After seeing the dragon animation on Game of Thrones, we know it can be done. Obviously, they would have to get a crazy huge budget for it, but damn, I would love to see that. That was like the first sort of sci-fi series, because it's more sci-fi than fantasy, because basically these people have gone to live on this other planet. They're supposed to have gone there hundreds and hundreds of years ago because like technology and the Earth just got too out of control for them. And they're like, we want a simpler life. So they just moved to another planet. And then unfortunately, it turns out that there is this star that passes over the planet that literally just like rains fire down on the planet. It's called thread. And so it like gets into the Earth and singes all your crops so you can't live. So then they basically breed dragons to fight it. It's really...
This is the most amazing like logline I've ever heard in my life. Why am I not
great
on this?
Series.
There's a lot of people out there doing drugs that I've never found.
It's by Anne McCaffrey. Awesome. It's really good. And now... There's been a lot of talk in the past about optioning it for a film. I know Warner Brothers was in some sort of discussion about it back in the day, but I would love to see it as an HBO series. And there's and again, it's not quite necessarily as blatant as Game of Thrones, but there's just as much sex and stuff going on. So I feel like it could be real hot.
A little bit of twin cest sprinkled in.
A little twin cest. There's no twin cest.
There you go.
Do we have time for one more? Or do you want to skip to the
more? Yeah.
From our friend at Aligar_83. So does this mean that Josh won't continue to watch Marvel's Netflix series because Misty is now part robot?
Guys, listen. That's the sexiest part of the robot is the arm. Give me... you can have robot arms or robot legs, but if you have a robot brain and it like comes alive and then we're all supposed to be like, oh, he's a person now. Out.
So you loved Ex Machina is what you're getting at.
Oh, God. I never really understood why that movie was so good.
Oh, Joshy, you just broke my heart.
It's just burn the robots. Burn them alive.
It's like...
Melt the metal, make it into things that we can fight them with. Melt the robots. Hashtag it. Melt.
I'm gonna have to emotionally recover from this moment. Well,
that's
now that we've wrapped that up, let's go to the pick of the day, my man.
Of the day. If you could pick a TV cop to interrogate you, who would it be?
Obviously Olivia Benson, because we are secretly best friends and spirit animals, and I would want her to interrogate me. So I could be like, look, I'm sorry about the murder, but like, what are you doing later? Because like, I just want to pick your brain because you are fly.
Okay, I did it. Does that mean we can go for drinks now? Got it.
I would also pick Olivia Benson, but I would also say, just to, shout out to my segment, EmmaMation, I would say Soichiro Yagami from Death Note, who is Light's dad. And again, just like he's a gruff detective, he's like a gruff police chief, but he's also a dad,
Like, so he'd be like soft on you, like he'd go easy on you. You're like, sorry.
A little bit, yeah.
I'd want Ice-T in. I don't know which Law and Order or CSI or NCIS he's on, but he just keeps asking me really mundane questions like the John Mulaney stand-up.
You telling me that he killed somebody? It's like, you're a cop, man. That's what a lot of my interrogation would just turn into be like,
I'm interrogating you now, Ice-T. Like, how did you become a cop? Who let you through the academy?
How are you so surprised by all these crimes? Like, how long have you been doing this?
All right, that's it for Collider TV Talk on a Central Wednesday. It's been a lot of fun. We love having you guys here. 11 a.m. tomorrow. We're off Friday and Monday of this week for the Labor Day holiday here in the States. So tomorrow is our last show of the week. We'll be back Tuesday, again, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Before we get out of here, Emma Fyffe, where can the good people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at my name, Emma Fyffe. You can check me out doing interviews and things for the Movie Trivia Schmodown.
Boom.
We got our sweet Ultimate Schmodown tournament going on right now. And if you need a little Friday programming fix, head on over to HyperRPG, twitch.tv/HyperRPG at 9 o'clock p.m. on Friday night to check out Pencils and Parsecs, which is the Star Wars RPG show I do there. It is really fun.
Boom. Grace Face.
I'm on the internet at Mrs. Graceface. I do not have an impressive
Plug.
outro like that, but I'm also doing interview stuff on the Movie Trivia Schmodown. I'm being my sassy self, and sometimes Em and I go at it a little bit.
It's true,
and
we do.
It's a fun
Bing,
time.
bang, boom. Like Hirotake Makahashu in Dragon Thunder Rainfire. Like when they go. Never mind. All right. I'm Josh Macuga. At Josh Macuga on Twitter and Instagram. The Josh Macuga Show on YouTube. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 11 a.m. PST. As always, put down the book. Pick up the remote.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.